The Chicago business scene is as diverse as the city itself. But we don't always hear from the entrepreneurs who keep the Chicago economy colorful. That's where I come in. I'm Micaela Brown, and this is the Minority Report. Chicago has a long storied history when it comes to comedy, producing some of the greatest comedic talent in the country. While most of this attention comes from the Northside clubs, Mary Lindsey is busy churning out great comedic talent from her club, Jokes and Notes in Bronzeville. With over 20 years of experience in comedy, Lindsey has crossed paths with the biggest names in the African-American comedy world. I sat down with her to talk about featuring the next crop of talented comics in Chicago. So what was it like working in such a male-dominated field, and a funny one at that?
Well, it wasn't that difficult for me because my corporate background, I come from the Board of Trade, and so I used to manage 17 traders. Every morning I was looking at 17, 18 guys. So I was used to that. That's how I built this Hart shield, and I'm ready for you. Come on with it, because that's the first thing they said to me was, right. You're not coming down here with this little, oh, I'm a girl and you got to be nice to me. It's all boys down here. You're one of the boys. So that's why they never called me by my legal name. They took my initials, and so they called me Mel, because it sounded more like a guy.
Mel, a.k.a. hard ass.
Yes,
Is that safe
exactly.
to say?
Yeah. And so when my boss wanted something done, he goes, no, just send Mel in there. She'll work it out, watch.
Would you say that you received pushback from the community when you started the comedy club in the South Loop? Just from the city, from the surrounding neighbors?
Actually, no, it was very welcome in the South Loop because it was developing. And the favorable thing for us is we didn't just platform black comics. Okay. We platformed everybody. Zanies and improv wasn't always that open to that format. We were like, we're risk takers. Let's do it. Let's see what happens. We wanted to see what an all black audience, how they would respond to a white comedian on the stage that their life experiences were apples and oranges. And it worked out really well. Carlos Mencia was our first Hispanic comedian, and we showed up to work, and girl, it was like lines wrapped around the block. And all 5 of the shows sold out, and we were like, holy shit, we're on to something. What is happening here, right?
What advice do you have for other people that may want to start a comedy club? What advice would you give to them?
Keep your day job. That's what I would say. I mean, I tell comics this all the time. Don't quit your job. Just put the time in, do both. I know you're tired. You gotta make room for the family, the kids, all that. I says, but keep that steady paycheck that's coming in to pay your bills, because once you get out here, it is such a grind. You will regret giving up that insurance you had or that day job, because I'm an entrepreneur now and I'm gonna be a celebrity and blah, 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 because it doesn't work that easy for you.
What would you think has been your biggest mistake in running this organization, and what have you learned from it?
I was so gung-ho about coming to the South Side in this revitalized neighborhood, Bronzeville, and I love it. However, it really does make me work so much harder than any other comedy club owner.
Why?
I've been here almost 10 years. We've never had any incidents. It's safe, it's fun, all of that. But because I'm next door to Inglewood, people don't support my club. So there's a whole community of people that do not come to 47th and King Drive because of what it used to be. I can't get people from Hyde Park to come.
They're right next door.
Exactly. It's unfortunate because I was hoping that I'd get tourist business. We get no tourism.
What would you like from the city to help small businesses like yourself?
I'd like to see the city say, let's focus on these Southside businesses and let's come up with some trolleys or some buses that will take people there and pick them up on a regular basis. Let's take a couple of these that have thrived for 10 years in this neighborhood, on this block, and she's saying, I get no tourist business. I don't. No one talks about it. We go to the hotels, we talk to the concierge, but they focus everything on the north side.
Who do you think right now in this industry is changing the game in terms of comedians?
I think Kevin Hart.
I'm so happy you said Kevin Hart.
I think Kevin Hart, and I have the funniest story about him because in year 2 or 3, Kevin was just getting really going, and he was sitting back there in the corner with his manager, Nate, and he's like, you better book me now because I'm funny and I'm not coming back here, and he's always talked that fast like that. And I was like, oh, whatever, just shut up, get out, you're short, you know. And he was like, did you just call? Oh, wait, I'm going to show you, Mary Lindsey, I'm going to show you. That's fine, don't book me for a weekend. And I'm just mimicking him, right? Okay. I was like, yeah, and I'm giving him all this crap, and I've been to many of his shows. And now look at Kevin Hart, and he's so funny. So his last show that he did in Chicago at United Center, I was there, and they put me right in front, and I was like, he won't bother me, and he didn't. And at the end of the show, he goes, what did I tell you, Mary Lindsey? Look how funny I am now. Huh, I ain't doing jokes and notes. No way, I'm way too big for jokes. And look how tall I am now, you know, and I was like, whatever, dude.
What would you say is one of your biggest fears right now running this business?
That one day I'm going to show up and say, guys, I'm not going to do this anymore. And I'm going to crush a lot of dreams, and that I don't sleep good at night thinking about that because I am getting tired. And I'm like, who's going to do this? Who's going to have that thick skin, you know, in this male-dominated industry to stand up and, you know, fight for these comedians?